It wasn't just about the blazer, because it all always reminded me of my situation and how things looked for the future. And we never really got a chance to talk about it, and even though we talked on the phone, there was no situation we could really talk. We just talked about our days. I was looking forward to this day, because we would really be alone, and we would get a chance to talk because I felt we really should. I needed to make decisions about my racing car, and I wanted to talk about it with Mari. Mari, I just wanted to talk to her, and I was so happy we were finally together. There are so many things. I was saying those words which by themselves didn't make too much sense, but I hope Mari understood what I meant. I love you, Mari said, suddenly kissing me and drying the last tears of my eyes. They are offering me 2 more years, I said. It's now mid-season and the driver transfer market is coming to life. Team Morane makes no secret that it wants Angus McPherson to stay for another 2 years. No one knows about the finances with Morane being in a crisis now, but he would be the better paid one out of the 2 drivers, since he has consistently outperformed his teammates here. Yeah, whatever, whether it was Tervonen or Renault, on the current one another young Frenchman, Laurent Sirot, McPherson with his years of experience, significantly more often than not, comes out on top. His biggest problem, I think, will be the motivation. Never in a truly competitive car, and pissing out on the little chances he got, it just seems the timing wasn't ever really right for him. I'd agree with that, and if you look at the current field, none of the really competitive teams have a real opening for him. It's also saying that the competitive teams all run either the excellent Japanese Suzuka engines, which have proven over the years to be pretty much unstoppable, being able to rev up to 20,000 RPM. 4 of the top 5 teams run the Suzuka engines, and there are no signs of them changing, with only the German Falkenheimer engines being close, but Team Morane doesn't even have those. It's a complete dominance of Suzuka engines in serious prime at the moment, and you're right, the Scotsman has never ever raced in a Suzuka powered car. But this might just be one of the excuses that his fans would make, because if you look at it, 13 years already he has competed and just a single victory to show. Well, but at least 1 victory. And even when you run a Suzuka engine, your aerodynamics package has to fit, so there are a lot of more factors. That has to be terribly frustrating for Angus, and who knows whether he really wants to continue in a team which by the looks of it will give him no shot at the championship title. And you know, it's all good and positive if you're young like this. Teammates, you drive for a weaker team to improve your skills and get known, to ultimately land in a top team with an opportunity to win the championship. But McPherson, he has been in the midfield for so long, maybe he's already lost the edge, the drive. You have to really wonder what's keeping him going. As a former racing driver, I can tell you that sure, you have many options, but ultimately, you want to win. There's no going around it. All the charities, all the funny TV spots, nothing matters if you don't see yourself competing for the championship. It's just absurd. You want to take that offer? Mari asked me. But the truth was, even when several things were running through my head, I was not sure about any single of them. Morane was the team I felt the most comfortable with. They were French, with all major investors being from France as well, and the team really understood what I wanted. In addition to that, they were really good with the press, and since Mari was French, it was a likable combination to the public. However, they were facing serious financial difficulties, and so their offer was significantly less than what they were paying me now. But still, even when they were a really good team to be in, I had all these thoughts. So, I wanted to ask you, should I take it? Should I save the game? Yes, I should save the game. If I take it, I will never be able to win the championship. I was thinking about... And to ask you, should I take it? Let's go with this. Well, do you want to take it? Thanks for the help. Mary asked back, although she understood this was not what I wanted to hear. But what did I expect? She wouldn't know more than I would. She wouldn't be able to give me any clearer advice. I knew it, but I guess I didn't ask her to get advice. I asked her to show her that it matters to me, what she thinks, that I want her to give me strength, and I want to know how much money did you earn, and how much money would you earn, and with that I could help you. Choosing. I don't know, I really don't know. But you'd have to decide until a certain date, she said, knowing how things work. The next 3 weeks. I didn't know what to say. It was a really big decision and it seemed too big to just decide here, now. But then we would be apart once this weekend is over and the decision would be even harder. This way, Mary was with me. And I just sighed because I felt a bit helpless. What does Andrew say? My agent, he got me this offer. Well, he says, as always, the decision is up to me, he just provides the opportunity. Andrew was really very kind in this respect. He didn't pressure me into anything, and even though in the past he did recommend some decisions, all of which ended up to be the best choices in retrospect, with passing years he has more and more distanced himself from my decisions. And has understood this as a show of respect. He really was like this. On his 50th birthday he held a small speech in front of all of his friends and family, and when touching the subject of his work he said that being my agent and being around Mary and me changed him for the better, and it moved me to tears. Ever since then we became friends. Of course, during the season I only saw him every so often and we usually just communicated on the phone, but there was a lot of respect between us, and I couldn't think of anyone else to manage my career. We worked together more during the winter and testing periods, and at that time Mary was also going on less trips, so we sometimes went out for dinner together during winter months. I also knew he would go for the right offers. By now he already knew what I would go for in terms of advertisement, or social or charity events, and he knew which activities I would be happy with. And what is the alternative? Marceline asked as we saw the palace grounds before us. The alternative to this offer? Yep, it's Coleman, right? Yep, the alternative, I suppose. Andrew would get some other offers, and of course there is retiring. I didn't even realize how that came out. I guess this was always on my mind, but if that were to happen, you wouldn't want to quit in mid-season, right? Mary asked, a little bit worried, even though she knew I wouldn't do such thing. I was almost in shock, how calmly she asked, and how practical her question was, as if she was already aware of everything. In a way, this was not that surprising. We talked about the future a few times already, and my retirement was always an option, given my age. I even don't know what age you are. Still, I now saw that Mary was very aware of this possibility. I thought she would treat this as a big decision. It would be the end of my career. But I guess seeing it coming, it was an eventuality. But no, of course not. There would be contractual penalties for me. The sponsors would be displeased. And what would the people think? Well, that's good. I wouldn't want you to quit like this. No, I never intended to. It certain isn't a time like that. I don't have any reason to quit instantly. But eventually, I have to. You know, Angus, how should I put it? More of a racing driver than an actual racer. Do you get what I'm saying? I absolutely do. You can see his biggest weakness is the lack of aggression. He is quite good in solitary tasks, like qualifying and posting good lap times, but when it comes to the actual business of racing, he isn't very good. Yes, sir, as much it pains me to admit, and as much as we root for our Scottish driver, one cannot get around the fact that he has simply done nothing of significance. But that's kind of weird. Expected, well, generally Scottish sportsmen, well, to be aggressive on track actually. Well, that one Monaco race. Alright, I gave you that, but let's also be honest here, he won it because so many others lost it. I disagree with you, if you win, you win. The others should have stayed out of trouble. Don't take that win away from him. Fair enough, but let's also be honest about it and say that that's just about the only thing he has done. There was also this controversial second place he had in the rain in Spa, and in one season he managed to finish third overall in the championship. Yeah, that was his best season, and that Spa race. I think that was the first and only time he was actually the best man on the track. The car was right. Since he lives there, he knows the track by heart. In addition to that, he's a really reliable rain driver. He made the fewest mistakes, he had a clean race. That was a job well done, and we all felt sorry for what happened afterwards when he was penalized with 30 seconds added to his time due to an illegal fuel mixture. Those 30 seconds meant he finished second, not first. Well, one thing you have to respect, he has put it all behind him like a gentleman. No one knows whether he knew about it or not, but we were told the allegedly responsible technician didn't get fired from the team. Anyway, that was the past, and since McPherson is now midfield at best, with perhaps even considering the end of his car, we should move on. Esteban Merino is on his way to becoming the series prime champion. Let's look at what happened during yesterday's free practice session. We walked some more in silence, and while walking I started to think about retiring. I saw that Mari was very open, and she let me talk, even express my frustration. I guess I was a bit surprised, but I was also really happy that she was so patient. If I was to retire, it would really be a big step. And they told her she had to replicate the behavior, otherwise they couldn't take it. Mari was explaining the troubles her mother has been having with her laptop computer. She was getting very lonely now that Mari had even less time to visit her, so we brought her a new laptop so she could reach her Mari easier. But she had been having problems with it, with some random bug of sorts that kept resetting her system, and she was very unhappy with the way the store dealt with her. Well, can't you just call Marcel? Mari's cousin, who also lived in Strasbourg, where Mari's mother lived. Mari was born in Strasbourg. Her family is German, but they moved to France and Mari was born there, so even though they come from Germany, Mari is French. Well, I guess, but you know how it is. You won't have the time, and she needs this fixed as soon as possible. Then let's just order her a new one from the website. Who cares? We'll let it be delivered right to her home. I'm sure I have some express service that puts it in her apartment within 24 hours and should be up and running by the time you are back in city. I suggested it as a simple solution. It did mean an extra expense, but... Well, but what about the current laptop? It's not even a year old. We'll be buying an extra one. Just tell her it's easier, and we'll take it to the repair shop ourselves when we visit her. But that's not... When will we visit next? Well, we wanted to have these weekends more often now, so next time we won't go to Prague or somewhere else but come to visit her instead. I said also because we have been really neglecting visiting her recently, and using the computer to stay in touch helped, but we really should visit. It would mean not having that one weekend only to ourselves, but I already sensed in Mari that she was feeling a bit guilty about this. I guess it's a good idea, and we can stay in our old apartment, Mari said, referring to our small apartment in Strasbourg that we owned, but even though we didn't live there, we didn't rent it. We just kept it for sentimental reasons and paid the bills for it, so theoretically we could go there anytime, and after flipping on the master switches and supplies, we'd have everything there. I knew her mother would insist we sleep over at her place,
but we would rather stay at our apartment. This was always the discussion whenever we visited in past. Right, so just order her the laptop. Who cares that we have two? She will then have the old one as a backup. Alright, it's a good idea. We will go to Strasbourg. Mara gave me a hug. Well, let's see if that worked out, Mary said, smiling as she sent out the order for the laptop from her phone. It took us about 20 minutes to find and order the laptop and have it delivered in 24 hours. Great. So you basically didn't think about what you are buying, probably. But give her a call about it, right? Yeah, I'll call her right now, I replied happily. As she was on the phone, I heard fragments of the conversation where she explained where we are now, and that it's all okay with us when we get her a second laptop. Admittedly, this solution wasn't the cheapest, in fact it was expensive, but it was the easiest, and so we got her the laptop. We continued walking around the palace garden. It has gotten warmer and the sun came through as well. Very soon we were talking again. Somehow, however, we got back to talking about my racing. I didn't force it this time, it seemed to be Mari who wanted to talk. She seemed to want to hear what I think, and I always told her what I felt. The thing that was most on my mind was my first ever serious prom race, the second place at Spa Francorchamps in top form, the fortunate and most important first place at Monte Carlo. To be honest, I would go with that, because, well, he was first and, you know, everything was screwed up, by the team actually. So that doesn't even count. You are being silly, Gus, Marge suddenly said with a pretended angry voice, as a result of what I just said. Why is that? Do you want to tell me you don't like your car? That you became a racing driver? Well, it hasn't been the best car in the world, has it? What? How can you say that? Do you want to make me really angry? No, it's just you say it's a car, but it isn't. You have a car, alright? You have the real job. You have the university degree. I have nothing. I don't have a job, I have a contract. Besides, why should you care? With your money we can pretty much stop working for the rest of our lives. Annoying guy. I want it like that as well. But it's not possible, probably. Well, but that's having money, it's not an accomplishment. Really? It is, of course it is. Remember, last year we calculated all of that. We are pretty much safe financially. That's a great security to have. Exactly. But we want the house in Lisbon. We want the child. That's all going to cost money. And you can't rely on what we have now. Why do you need a house in Lisbon? Come on. Well, given the current time, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying you have done a great job. You can see it all in the context of your racing and you will always have your victories. You are the series third champion, Mary said. Well, I still don't really know how to feel about it.